So, let me ask you a question. If I locked you in a room and gave you 10 minutes to escape, do you think you could do it? You could break a window, break down the door. I mean, the possibilities are endless. I'm sure most of you could. But let's change the question. What if I locked you in a room, gave you 10 minutes to escape like last time? However, this time the only way you can escape is if you find active child sextortion happening online through your ordinary everyday apps. Do you think you could escape in time? Well, for most of you watching this is just a thought experiment, and it's probably pretty easy to assume that child sextortion is not the easiest thing to find, especially on everyday apps. But there's a reason I'm asking you these questions, and it's because I didn't need 10 minutes. I barely needed 5. This entire investigation that I'm presenting to you guys all started on one app that you yourself have most likely used within the last hour. TikTok is a platform with over 1.5 billion monthly active users, and in 2024 it was estimated to be worth over $100 billion, making TikTok one of the highest valued social media companies in the world. It's estimated that almost 1/3 of TikTok's user base is under the age of 18, meaning there are 499,999,999 children who are vulnerable to the algorithm every month. But you may be asking yourself, why that number? Well, that's because the last one is me. What you're looking at right now is the one and only decoy account that I made posing as a 13-year-old. I didn't specify the gender or even my name, just plain and simple. I want you to guess how many people messaged me within the first 24 hours of this account being made. If you guessed 9, then you would be correct. Now, while 9 may not seem like a lot, the content that I was exposed to from these 9 people was more than enough to do damage to a real 13-year-old.
I just saw your comment on this video.
Yeah? How old are you?
I'm 17. What about you?
Oh, sorry, I'm 13.
Can I tell you something? I'm 24. I was scared you wouldn't want to talk to me if I was over 18.
Hi.
Good. I just got finished. How are you, though?
Good. How old are you?
Probably too old for you. I'm 19.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
That's good.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
How old are you?
I'm 19.
What do you want to do to me?
I want to use you and make you mine. Do you have big breasts?
No, they haven't really came in yet.
Even cuter.
Now, while these are just 3 out of the 9 interactions that I've had, this was the start of a rabbit hole that I would find myself in for months. From child predators that are children themselves, to weird lolly cults, to even going as far as off-platform grooming, this all stemmed from one account. All of the people who I interacted with throughout this video thought they were talking to a real 13-year-old. But before we get into the meat and bones of this case, I need to take the time to get a few terms out of the way. Lolly refers to the drawings of underage individuals often in lewd positions. CSAM stands for child material. And lastly, MAP stands for minor attracted person. These are terms that I will be using frequently throughout the video, so without further ado, let's get into it. Let me ask you a question. At what age can you become a danger to 10-year-olds? Okay, got your answer? Well, remember it, because we're going to be coming back to that question, because I need you to do one more thing. Take a look at this picture. Tell me what you see. Well, to most people, it's nothing more than two kids who obviously just got done with a football game. But let's instead bring our attention to the kid on the left. Do you notice anything off about him? If you don't, I can't blame you, because I didn't either. This kid that we are so heavily focused on as of current, who we're gonna call Jay, is actually a standout quarterback for his high school. He's deeply loved by his community, and he lives in a stable household with his mom and dad, who both work amazing jobs. On his TikTok profile, people in his comments are praising him, and he claims to be a man of God in his bio. There are absolutely zero signs of any wrongdoing within Jay's life. Now, what if I told you the reason I asked you that question 30 seconds ago was actually because it relates to Jay? Jay is 16 years old, and he was one of the first people to message my decoy account. At first, I was very, very, very unwilling to talk to him, considering that he was only a few months younger than me. But after I asked him what age he would consider doing anything with, it became clear that he was now a danger to kids. I spent around an hour talking to Jay, and the chats are disturbing, so I'm really only going to show you the highlights. What would you do to me?
I want to pin you down and rub my tip against your entrance.
That's all?
We can keep going throughout the night, taking it slow.
I haven't heard anything crazy yet.
Like I'll force you between my cheeks. What the fuck is this guy talking about?
I want to know the craziest thing you'd do to me.
Probably take you from your school and rape you in my car, in the parking lot, so all your friends can see. They watch you trying to force yourself not to like it.
You at least have tinted windows, right?
We'll stick a hole in your hole and have for everyone.
Now, let me ask you another question. Does him being 16 excuse saying this to someone who he thought was a 13-year-old? And do you think it also excuses him being open to the possibility of a 10-year-old? I'm sure most of you said no. Shortly after my conversation ended with Jay, he probably had the biggest post-nut clarity of his life because he would actually block me. But blocking me did absolutely nothing for him because I found his address and his mom's number within the day of this happening. You see, one thing I understand when it comes to predators is that it starts young and you need to catch it very early. So while I won't play the call I had with his mom here, I will tell you that she was an amazing woman who was concerned for her son. The call we had was great, and I'm happy to report that I feel quite confident that Jay has gotten the help he needed. So, while Jay's story ends on a good note, the same can't be said for others.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey, you up?
Hey, princess.
Hey, little
What's up? What are you doing?
Hi. Oh my god, hi.
Are you a female?
Trying to make me feel no, not November. I'm happy to be a friend.
Are you a gooner?
I know you won't want to hear this, but please stop. None of the grown-ass men are good for you. This is never gonna help you nor make you feel better. Please listen to me. There's so much more to life than being with these people online. You can get help. There's people who care about you. You deserve more than this, and I hope you realize that.
You know, I really appreciate you taking the time. I know it took a long time for us to interview, but that's just because we're 7 hours apart. And,
Yeah.
You know, that sucks, but I appreciate you taking the time.
Of course.
But what are the effects you've seen that this community's having on the children that are interacting with it?
I think, when you go to those spaces as a child, the adults, they're trying to make it seem like it's really normal. They want to normalize it. And I thought it was normal. I didn't feel like there was anything wrong with anything that I was doing or that I see other people doing. That's why I didn't want to get help. I was like, why do you think this is weird? I don't think this is weird.
So you think like it's kind of becoming normalized, like with children, like they're just viewing it as something that's normal, which obviously it isn't.
And even when the children are growing up, like I did it for years, I think, and I still thought it was normal.
When I was like looking at your account, you have your age in your bio, and I was wondering like, do a lot of people send you messages?
Not on TikTok right now, because I don't think I'm in that community and I don't post a lot, but like on Discord, yeah. Sometimes.
Like how many people would you say like hit you up per like day or like week, or like how many people would you say just message you?
I'm not in like any weird servers now, so none, but like it used to be so many like in a day. Yeah, the way I found your TikTok is my groomer kept viewing my profile on TikTok, and I was fucking mad at it. I looked at his profile and went through who he's following, and there were a bunch of fucking kids. Like so I know he's still doing that.
Like, okay, like what would you say is the most crazy experience that you've had with someone is?
Oh shit, wait, I wrote something down, hold on, I need to remember. Okay. I remember I was talking to like a really old guy, like 40s or something, and he was like really into me, and we were just talking. He sent me pictures of himself and voice messages, and I was like, oh, wow, I like this guy. And then we were talking about family, I think. I asked if he has any pets, and he said, yeah, I have like parrots or some shit. I was like, oh, you take care of those alone. He had kids. He had 2 underage kids. Yeah, I think like a toddler and like a 9-year-old or something. I was like, you're doing this, but you have kids. It was really fucking weird. And yeah, I stopped talking to him like immediately, because that's really, really weird.
What would you like say to the kids out there that are currently involved in the community or looking to get into it?
I would just say that none of those men, adults, they don't care about you. I thought that they cared about me. I felt like they loved me, like this would be the love of my life. But that's not the case. They're not actual people to you. You're not actually with them. They don't care about you. They don't love you. If you don't like entertain them, they're gonna find another child.
Okay, I do have one last question. Would you be willing to do a little experiment with me?
Yeah, of course.
Take a look at this photo. And this one. And this one. And man, even that one. Sorry, that one's really bad. You know what? Let me just throw up the rest on the screen. What these photos represent are all of the child predators that me and my newfound friend Remi found within 1 week's worth of investigation. This investigation goes much further than just a few bad actors. It's going to show how platforms like TikTok enable grooming within their platform. So without further ado, let's start the experiment. It starts with 1 decoy account on 1 platform. Within 20 minutes of our experiment starting, I already had someone send me over 100 images of Lolly, Zoo, and CSAM. But it's how they sent these images that make me question TikTok's moderation system. TikTok has a zero tolerance policy when it comes to content that exploits, endangers, minors. However, this person was still able to send illegal content to me with TikTok's built-in sticker feature. And just so you understand how this works, and why this person was able to get away with sending me this stuff, let me show you how the sticker system actually works. First, you find a video you like, go to the share icon, click create sticker, and then edit where in the video your sticker starts and ends. And then boom, you have a custom sticker. But like all good things seem to end up, this gets abused by the predators that we caught throughout our assessment. But what I find even more disturbing is that while there were illegal stickers being sent to me, they were sourced from videos that could be anywhere on the platform. And while I understand TikTok's zero tolerance policy is great from a broader view, it does not get put to use where it needs it the most. Okay, so when I woke up the next morning, I had countless DMs to reply to, and Remi also had a few at hand. In both situations, it really goes to show how readily available child predators are on this platform. However, what happened next would actually surprise me. 3 days into our experiment, TikTok banned my account, and while I'm happy they decided to take action on my account that was posing as a 13-year-old, keep in mind my account was live from October 25th of 2025 to January 3rd of 2026. And within that 2-month time frame, I was still exposed to content that could have very well been damaging to a real 13-year-old. While I do understand it's better late than never, the only reason I really think I was banned is because the day before that, I made a predator mad by blocking him, to which I believe he reported my account in anger. And while that is just complete speculation, either way, TikTok should have taken action much sooner. And unfortunately, since my account was banned, I wasn't able to report all the child predators that we caught, meaning they're still out there on TikTok's platform. It's also important to note that Remi's TikTok account was still very much active. Now, a lot of the predators that we caught eventually led us off TikTok's platform onto other apps such as Session or Teleguard. In fact, if we acted like we didn't know what these platforms were, the predators would still go out of their way to teach us, just so that they could groom us. So just like that, we are now off TikTok getting groomed on a whole nother platform. Remi was no stranger to this, because TikTok being out of the picture now, well at least for me, Remi suggested that we move to another app called Tumblr, which is pretty much like TikTok, but it allows you to pretty much blog, I guess. I don't know how to explain it that well, I'm sorry. We saw everything from predators sharing their dark fantasies with us to them even going out of their way to roleplay with us. However, throughout our experiment, there were some outliers, like this guy who was asking people what he should do with his own daughter. And when Remi confronted him about it, he then stated that he needed to apologize or else he would go out of her way to hurt her. Or this guy who wrote so much of a fantasy that it had to be put on 3 separate screenshots. I can't make this up. This also happened again with 2 completely separate individuals as well. However, there's one guy who kept making an appearance more than once. Our story starts out on Session, an open source, free messaging app focused on anonymity and security, where Remi would receive a message from an individual named IPayAFab Kiddos. AFAB standing for assigned female at birth. Since I can't pronounce that name correctly, I will now refer to him as iPay4Kids. iPay4Kids got straight to the point, where they wanted an underage kid to be their personal child for $1,000. Remi did not seem to really like that, because they would end the conversation right there. However, a few weeks later, Remi would run into iPay4Kids again, where he would ask the same question. But this time, Remi would actually interrogate iPay4Kids to see his real intentions behind everything. And while Remi did an incredible job handling the situation, not all of my questions were answered. I would actually end up messaging iPay4Kids myself, and my original plan was to try to get a face reveal from him. And I thought that this would honestly be pretty easy, because straight off the bat he was already talking about me sending a face reveal to him to verify if I was real. So, I used this opportunity to use the method I used for every predator within this video, and I told him that it was kind of scary and that he should go first, which he was actually smarter than I thought, because he wouldn't budge no matter how much I tried. My conversation ended with iPay4Kids pretty fast, so I really couldn't get as much as I wanted from him. At least, not yet. Not in this video. We ran into another person who was doing this on a much smaller scale. There's not much to say about him because he didn't do much talking to us in the first place. But this is a common theme that we ran into during all of this. Over the course of our assessment, which lasted 1 week, we had a total of 195 predators message our decoy accounts, including Tumblr and TikTok, with 45 coming from me and 150 coming from Remi. Yeah, I get it, I don't want to see any comments. While we tried our best to get face reveals from as many predators as possible, there were only a handful of ones that were stupid enough to send them. I made a total of 3 posts, 1 on TikTok and 2 on Tumblr, each taking less than 5 minutes to make. Remi made 5 posts, 2 on TikTok and 3 on Tumblr. So, where am I going with all this? Well, If we take 195 and divide it by 7, being the number of days our posts were running, we get a total number of 27 predators caught per day. That's a little more than one predator per hour.
Like, about the fucking I pay kiddos guy, I do think that he could actually be paying some people some amounts, because that's not, like, unheard of. I've gotten money, and I've gotten gifts. I got a year of Nitro, I've gotten games. Low-key recently, this one guy, I talked to him for like 4 days. He gave me $85 to my Steam wallet. We didn't do anything weird, he was just, I don't know, he's weird. And he's just randomly gave me money. But it's like super easy, because even if, especially if you're on like Tumblr, you can just post like, hey, can someone give me Nitro? And add the weird ass tags, and people will just DM you. I mean, that's what I've like found out. I have gotten stuff from random guys. But yeah, I don't think it's a good thing. I'm not saying that it's a good thing to even like scam.
Cult. A relatively small group of people having beliefs or practices, especially relating to religion, that regards others as strange or sinister, or as imposing excessive control over members. Take a look at this TikTok account.
Ask to join the cult.
And then they included their teleguard. Now if you watched my last video I made about TikTok, this would actually sound very familiar, because I actually had to download it during my investigation for that video, where I was just one toe deep into the start of all of this. And here we are again, back on this godforsaken app. I added Puppy's teleguard and asked them if I could join their supposed cult, and I got an answer from them pretty fast. Now I didn't really know what to expect, but I was immediately greeted by the profile picture of the cult being an image that I can't show here. The name of the group chat was Cult of Pervers, no illegal IRL. Now keep that in mind as we investigate this cult. I started off with a casual attitude, asking questions like what do they do in this group chat, and what makes this a cult exactly? To which they stated it's not actually a cult, it's just the name of the leader. However, the leader soon replied asking for blood sacrifices, so at this point I was just confused. During my time of being in this cult, it was obvious that almost all the members loved glorifying pedophiles. Some were even sad about the only rule being no illegal IRL content. However, within 2 days of being in this cult, an anonymous user would join and send real CSAM content that I had to immediately delete off the app. So much for one rule. This was a theme that was more than consistent throughout the cult. Every day I would wake up to some bullshit on my phone that I had to delete. Some of the people in this cult were even into dogs, claiming that the only experience they had was with animals, and the owner seemed to agree with that statement. The owner of this cult even seemed to have a Telegram group chat, just like this one, claiming that it was more active and you actually need to post content to stay in it. Honestly guys, the difference between this and a real cult is that instead of giving money to a party or person, you're giving illegal content to fuel the disgusting desires of the ones who partake in it. And this is no isolated experience either. Cults are a huge part within the MAP community, with some expressing a desire to raising their own children to become perverts just so that they can grow up and continue to repeat the cycle and hurt more children. Let's be honest with ourselves. This isn't a cult. It's a way for predators to make their victims feel like that they are a part of something special. This also allows for desensitization within the victim's mind, making it less likely for the victims to tell a trusted adult, allowing for the chances of predators facing real repercussions almost zero. Desensitization is a word that we need to get familiar with, as it plays a huge role within the MAP community. Predators know if they're able to make their victims think stuff like this is normal, it will only work out in their favor in the long run.
How did you get into it?
Like the early days of Omegle, I think, where I saw that community the first time, and then I moved on to Snapchat, I think, and then I think through this is a whole other thing, but self-harm Discord servers, I think through that I found the map communities on Discord.
Yeah. Speaking about like self-harm, are like a lot of kids the ones like self-harming themselves in these communities?
Yeah, that's also romanticized a lot, and a lot of the adults.
Romanticized?
Yeah, some of them have like kinks for self-harm and stuff, and so the children, there's a lot of those pictures too. Like pedos with maps asking children to carve names and shit. That's happened to me. Also, okay, this sounds, I don't know if this is like even YouTube material, bro, but I remember a lot of people, they connected in like map servers by talking about how they want to like start families, like adults and kids make kids, and they want like create families and raise their children to be so they can make more in children. I heard shit like that so many times.
When cults are not enough, there is a way to get into a kid's mind, and it's romanticizing it. But it's what they romanticize that makes it even worse, so allow me to put something in a picture for you. Imagine that you're a 13-year-old kid, and you get a message from a guy named Paul. Paul is 43, and it seems like he's going to be a pretty nice guy. And it also seems like he genuinely cares about your interests and hobbies. And again, since you're 13, it's kinda cool that an adult actually sees you for who you are instead of just some stupid kid. However, a few days later, Paul is confessing his love to you. And again, you're only 13, and you've never really had an experience in a relationship before, so it seems like a normal thing to be happening. And it works. You tell him that of course you want to be in a relationship with him. After all, he's a super nice guy. Over the course of your relationship with Paul, you and Paul get very close, with him often getting sexual. But this is just what happens in relationships, so you don't question it. I mean, that's what Paul's telling you. Eventually, yours and Paul's bond is so close that you would do anything for him, and he says that he would do the same for you. And you believe it. Paul soon starts to tell you to do certain things to your body, often involving self-harm. He tells you that it's normal, and it shows how much you really love him. He tells you that if you don't do it, it's just a huge turnoff for him, and he knew you didn't love him after all. So you cave, even though you don't really like it. It gets to the point where it feels like he has control over you, but he makes it seem so normal. So instead of questioning it, you start to just force yourself to like it. And after a few months of this, it's just part of your life. It's the new normal. This is just how relationships work, right? Well, you can't really talk about it with anyone because if you were, they would probably notice all the wounds on your arm. I mean, your mom is already asking you why you're wearing hoodies all of a sudden. Deep down, I mean, you have a feeling it's wrong. But then again, you second guess yourself because of Paul. And I mean, eventually you start to like it, and it's just part of your life. It's consumed you, and it's who you are. You and Paul broke up months ago, but the only thing you've ever known is older guys like Paul. So you find another guy who acts just like him, and the cycle repeats. You never get help, and you never break the cycle. I know that was pretty brutal, but it's just a tactic that I found predators use towards their victims. If you're lucky enough, you'll either get told by someone close to you that it's all wrong, and you should get help, but that's only if they find out about it. Romanticization is something that haunts me, because it's a tactic that is so convincing to a young mind. So while cults are a tactic that get put to use, what I came to realize is that cults within the community are usually a byproduct of romanticization. A lot of the kids that are in the cult have already went through what I just put into picture for you. Before I end this video, I'm gonna leave you with some stats. This was no easy investigation. Over the few months of this video being in production, there were real victims that were being involved. From the little girl who was actively getting abused by her father, to people saying their only experience is with animals. These are real victims that are on this earth with us. Every child deserves a good childhood, but there are just some monsters out there that prevent it from happening. Before we continue, this case has been reported to the correct authorities, and it's now in an ongoing investigation that is out of my hands. If you or anyone you know are currently going through a situation like the one that you've seen throughout this video, please call this number that's on screen, or use the correct resources to get the help you need. You're not alone, you do have a voice. My TikTok account posing as a 13-year-old gained over 250 followers. With followers comes a lot of messages, and I had a total of 144 people message me. Now I want you to guess how many people viewed my profile over the lifetime of my account. If you guessed 1,000, you would be far off, because over 5,000 people viewed my profile. And while I understand this is just profile views, you need to understand that the only reason a person would view my profile in the first place is if they were involved within the map community. If we add up all the numbers from all the apps that I was active on during this investigation, a grand total of 374 predators messaged me, including Remi. And that, unfortunately, is not an exact number, only a rough estimate. Remember how this all started. One app, one account, one 13-year-old.
Sing me a sweet song, whispered on the breeze. Sit down beside me in an old memory. Under the moonlight, neath the northern star, hoping you dream of me too from where you are. Blue shadows waning at the break of day, sounding of the morning dove that calls you away. I'll be awaiting messages from afar. Send to me a melody from where you are.
Like, from what I've seen, a lot of the like adults or the maps, pedos, whatever, they've been abused as children. Like, they've at some point been the child. And like, it made me think at some point, like, what if I will grow up and started to like kids because I was in the position that the adult used to be in. And I saw other kids talking about how they want to grow up to groom more children into being perverts or whatever. Like, I've seen that as well. And that's kind of crazy. I don't know.